The incumbent Jair Bolsonaro has yet to formally concede defeat more than a day after losing. Lula da Silva was declared the winner of the 2022 presidential election in Brazil. Despite intermittent demonstrations from his supporters, the president's hesitation to concede Sunday's election has increased concerns that he will not accept a transfer of power. In the run-up to the election, Bolsonaro and a few of his allies made baseless assertions about electoral fraud and biased press coverage. Lula da Silva told supporters on Sunday night that he was part happy, part apprehensive about the transfer of power, and said that somewhere else in the world, the president who lost would have phoned me by now and conceded. On Sunday night, Lula da Silva addressed his fans and said, "Anywhere else in the world, the president who lost would have called me by now and conceded." He added that he was part joyful, part apprehensive about the transfer of power. View more. He hasn't phoned yet, and he hasn't indicated if he will or whether he will concede, a man added. Experts, however, assert that, public admission or not, the matter is already out of the incoming president's control. The Senate Chamber of Deputies and state assemblies are informed of the election results by Brazil's Supreme Electoral Court, who also legally validates them. According to a press representative for the Electoral Court, because the court declared the results on Sunday, the results of the vote are already regarded as legitimate. The victory will be formally announced in court at a later time, but no date has been scheduled, he said. According to a press release from the Electoral Court, President Alexander de Moraes personally called both Bolsonaro and Lula da Silva on Sunday to advise them of the outcomes and to thank them for taking part in the democratic process. De Moraes added that he did not anticipate many challenges to the outcome of the election. In the release, he stated that the result has been proclaimed, acknowledged, and those who were elected will enter office on January 1. Rodrigo Pacheco, the president of the Brazilian Senate, as well as Arthur Lira, the president of the Chamber of Deputies and a close ally of Bolsonaro, have already publicly congratulated Lula da Silva and his followers. Foreign heads of state from all around the world quickly voiced their support for Lula da Silva's victory. After Sunday's vote, as Vice President Joe Biden said, "I express my congratulations to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on his election to be the next president of Brazil following free, fair, and legitimate elections." And in a message conveyed to TASS by Russian state news agency TASS, Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated the winner and added that the vote's outcomes reflect your high political authority. As one of the first foreign leaders to greet him, Argentine President Alberto Fernandez was met by Lula da Silva on Monday in Sao Paulo, beginning the president diplomatic-elect's operations. Brazilian authorities have already declined to take part in the transfer of power at least twice. When the Brazilian Republic was established in the late 19th century, Army Marshal Floriano Peixoto skipped the inauguration of President de Moraes, his successor, and almost a century later, José Sarney, the last of the unelected military presidents, was not invited to João Batista Figueiredo's inauguration. The boycott was primarily symbolic in both situations. The same would be true, according to legal expert Augusto de Arruda Botelho, if Bolsonaro were too public. Later, the Federal Supreme Court mandated that all public roads and highways be cleared. The National Transport Confederation CT of Brazil issued the decision after claiming that the blockages caused inconvenience and damage to the whole society and that they should be classified as anti-democratic and perhaps constituting legal violations of the democratic rule of law. At least 246 roadblocks had been taken down from the nation's federal highways as of 8, according to Brazil's federal police. But some highways were still blocked. In the meantime, Bolsonaro